and welcome. My name is Miss Brandy and I work for Cultural Crossroads of Minden. And we have put together these fun art kits for you to do either at school or at home. Just always be sure to have a grown-up kind of help you along the way. But this video is to help guide you through these projects as well. You're going to do them right along with me. Some of you may have done them last year, but some of you may be new. And I'm so glad to meet you and make new friends. All right, so let's just get started, why don't we? We are going to start off with the month of October. October is my favorite month because I love Halloween. A lot of my friends and family have birthdays in October too, so that's really fun. We also have the fair. The weather is beautiful. It's my favorite time of year. I love watching the colors of the leaves change and fall. I love the pumpkins and all that good stuff. I love dressing up in costumes, and I even have a dress with pumpkins on it, if you can't tell how much I love the month of October. All right, I even have a cool little friend here. Let's check out and see what it does. I love this guy. I keep him at my house usually, and my kids play with it all month long, and it never gets old. All right, so let's get down to business, okay? You're gonna grab your art kit. It says October. It's got some spooky bats on it, and we are gonna open it up and see what's inside this box, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, boo! All right. First off, we have got a little treat for you. Trick or treat. It's a sour punch straw. These are so sour and I love them. So happy trick or treat to you. First, you're gonna have a little bag that's got candy corns all over it. And inside, you're gonna have 3 colors of watercolor liquid, okay? Be very careful when you open these. They're easy to spill. And then you're gonna have 3 of these little squeezy tube things called pipettes. And in there, you should also have 1 tiny little googly eye, okay? These are gonna be for a project that we're gonna do at the end of the video. So we'll just set that aside. Next, you're gonna have another bag, and it's got spooky ghosts and skeletons on it. And inside of it, you're gonna have some more paint pots with some orange and black paint, 2 big googly eyes, some spongy paintbrushes, and another little bitty paintbrush in there. All right, that's actually gonna be for 2 different projects, okay? Then you're gonna have a brown marker and a black marker. A little thing of glue, always comes in handy. And a brown paper plate. I wonder what we're gonna do with this. I can tell you we're not gonna be eating any snacks or anything on it. We're gonna turn this into something really cute and fun. All right, next you're gonna see this. Can you see that? This is an apron for you to wear over your clothes when we use these orange and black paints, because these paints do not come out of clothing, okay, or any kind of fabric like a couch or a chair or anything like that. So let's be sure to wear this when we do that project, and be really careful with that paint to not get it on anything. I'm sorry, grown-ups, for that, but in order to make that project work, we have to use acrylic paints. So we'll be very careful when we do that, all right? Next, you're gonna have a piece of brown paper that's in the shape of a rectangle, all right, rectangle. And another brown piece of paper that's in the shape of a triangle. All right, 3 sides, 3 angles, triangle. All right, look at this cute little guy. We've got a white paper turkey, gobble, gobble, gobble. Because fall, even though Thanksgiving does not fall in the month of October, it is in November, and you won't be getting a kit for November, just October. So I figured I'd throw in a fun Thanksgiving themed project for you there. And that's going to go with your candy corn bag, okay? Next, each one of you is going to have your own spooky face on this white square. Now this is what's called a stencil, and we'll talk more about that when we start that project. Then you all know this shape, right? It's a pumpkin. Yeah, it wouldn't be an October activity without a pumpkin involved. And this color is what? Orange, that's right. Next, you're gonna have a bag. Look at this, your very own bag. And what we're gonna do with this is make your very own trick-or-treat bag. Okay, so you may already have one, and that's okay. But you are welcome to make your own and use it this Halloween and every Halloween after that if you'd like, okay? It's your very own trick-or-treat bag that you made all by yourself. So then you're gonna have this bundle of straw or hay, and this is actually called raffia, okay? It's used for making things, and we're gonna use it for a very fun project, all right? So now that you have everything out of your box, are you ready to see what we're gonna make first? All right, great, let's get started. Alrighty, so I have my box in front of me. I'm also working on a surface that I don't mind getting that paint on, that orange and black paint that won't come out of cloth and stuff, even though I have it on cloth, but that's okay. I can get stuff on this. So be sure to be working on a table that can have paint wiped off of it, okay? Now first, I've got in my box my apron, my ghost and skeleton bag, my pumpkin shape, and my stencil, and my bag. All right, I'm just gonna set some of this stuff to the side. And first, you're gonna put on your apron, okay? Now, from how I have the camera set up, you won't really be able to see what it looks like on me, but you're just going to open it like this. Now, be very careful with things plastic like this. Don't ever, ever, ever put them on your face or over your mouth, okay? Do not use them without a grown-up watching you and making sure that you're doing everything correctly, okay? Let's stay safe. All right. Now you'll see that there's two long strings on each side. That's gonna wrap around your waist. And then this hole right here is gonna go over your head. So it's gonna go over your head and then wrap it around your waist. Again, have a grown-up help you with that, okay? And this is just gonna help make sure that no paint gets on your clothing, all right? So we're gonna actually use our box to help us with this project. So your box is part of it too. What you're gonna do is turn it around to where the lid, the top part of it, is in front of you, okay? Next, you're gonna take your bag and open it up, and you're just going to slide the open end into the open end. You're gonna slide the box lid into it. You may have to fold these up a little bit, and you may have to have a grown-up help you with that too, but you're gonna slide it in there. Now what this is going to do, you see I've got it all the way down. I can feel the cardboard in the very bottom right there. What this is going to do is create a barrier between this side of the bag and the other side of the bag so the paint doesn't bleed through to the other side, okay? Because it'll just go right through this fabric and show up on the other side, and we don't want that. So be sure to put your pizza box lid in between your layers of fabric there, or you can use another big piece of paper or cardboard or something like that, okay? All right, so I explained earlier that I would tell you what a stencil is. A stencil is a piece of paper or plastic or cardboard or any other material that has shapes drawn and cut out of it so you can use it to put that image, that picture onto something very easily. You don't have to draw it or anything, and you can make it the same every single time. It's just a really easy tool that a lot of artists use. Okay, and then your pumpkin shape is going to act as a stamp. A stamp is something that you put ink or paint onto on the whole surface and then press it down. And when you lift it up, that shape is on your canvas or paper, or in this case, your bag. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is put orange paint all over this pumpkin, the whole thing, just on one side though. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move my bag and box out of the way just for now, just right out there. And I've got my pumpkin in front of me. And I'm going to open up my bag. I'm going to grab one of my foam brushes. That's these ones with the rectangle piece on the end. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just take all of this stuff out of my bag. Okay. Now, don't throw this away just yet. Go ahead and put your googly eyes back in the bag, because that's going to be for a different project. And put your blue brush back in there as well. All right, and save that for our next project. All right, so I've got my paint and my 2 foam brushes. Now again, this paint does not come out of cloth, so be very careful, all right? When you open it up, you can just open up one at a time. Let's just open up the orange for now. So we're just going to open up one of the orange ones and set that over here. Put my brush to the side. So with just one of your foam brushes, it's not going to fit all the way down in there, but that's okay. You can just dip a corner of your brush in there and just start putting the paint down on your pumpkin. See, I don't mind if it gets on that cloth like that. I don't mind at all. All right, and let's work kind of fast because we don't want the paint to dry before we can stamp it onto our bag. Cover the whole thing. Just kind of get it in there. It's going to get a little messy. Now, if it gets on your hands, the paint, that's okay. You can wipe it off with a paper towel, or just be very careful not to touch your clothes or anything like that. But it will wash off of your hands with some soap and water. Move this out the way. All right. This is probably not the best cloth to be working on, but that's okay. I just didn't want to get a bunch of orange paint on my tablecloth under here. All right. Now, I'm going to set this to the side in a safe space where I can't knock it over. And I'm going to move this as well, being very careful not to touch on the paint, and set it to the side. Okay. I'm actually going to fold this over so I don't get paint on that. So whatever surface you're about to set your bag on top of, make sure there's not wet paint underneath it, or otherwise it'll get on your bag, okay? I know I'm moving kind of fast here, and I'm sorry. All right. So now that I've got my bag in front of me and my paint is still wet on my pumpkin, this is the paint side. You can see it's kind of shiny. I'm going to put that side down on my bag. So I'm going to very carefully turn it over without touching the bag and just place it right where I want it on the bag. I'm going to put mine kind of in the middle there, but you place it however you want to. And I'm just going to press down all around. Just going to rub it onto the bag. Being very careful not to move it around, because then you'll lose that nice pumpkin shape. You'll get a whole new shape, kind of like a blob. All right, now let's see how this looks. I'm going to carefully lift it up. Okay, there's a pumpkin. Do you see the pumpkin shape on there? Now, hopefully you put a little bit more paint on yours. I'm going to carefully, I would not suggest laying it back down and trying to line it up again because that's very hard. But I've done this a bunch in my life, so I'm going to put mine back down and kind of rub it a little bit more and try to get a little bit more of that paint on there. There we go. That shows up a little bit better, doesn't it? Okay. Now we're going to let this dry for a little while, and when you come back, this will be dry and we'll move on to our stencil. All right, now that your orange paint is dry, we can get out our stencil, our face stencil, and you're going to just place it down right in the middle of your pumpkin so it looks like a jack-o'-lantern, okay? Just like that. So you can see a little bit of the edges sticking out. Just kind of line it up a little bit, okay? Then you're going to open up, let me close my orange paint here. Now, if you needed to use your other orange to get enough orange paint onto your pumpkin, that's fine. If you didn't have to open it, when we're done with this and this whole side is completely dry, you can turn your bag over and do the other side exactly like how we did this side. And so now you have a jack-o'-lantern on both sides of your bags. All right, so I'm going to carefully open up my black, very carefully. Now, I don't suggest opening it up over your bag, okay? And then I'm going to take my other brush, not the one that I used for the orange, but my other brush. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dip it in the black, okay? And while I'm holding down my stencil, hold it down good. Just grab a corner and kind of hold it down. I'm going to start dabbing the paint onto this, okay? We're just going to dab it on there like that. And so this white plastic is going to keep the paint from going where I don't want it to go. And when we take it off, we're going to have this really cool jack-o'-lantern painted onto our bag. This is called stenciling. Be very careful not to let your stencil move around as you're doing this, because if it moves, then the face isn't going to look quite right when you're done. Get his little nose. If yours has a nose, don't forget the nose. Just go all the way around and fill in everywhere where there's a cutout. Again, be very careful not to dip your brushes over your bag, because if it drips, that black paint drips on it, that's a uh-oh. But that's okay. We all make uh-ohs sometimes. That is all right. The great thing about these nice, sturdy plastic stencils is that when you're done, you can just wash the paint off of it and use it over and over again. And they make stencils in all kinds of shapes. So you can do Christmas things or Valentine's things or just animals, letters, shapes, all kinds of stuff. I love stencils. They make life really fun and easy. All right, so just as you're working, hold down the stencil close to where you're working. Just put that black just put that black paint really good and down on to where you can't see any orange or the tan color of the fabric. Get it on there nice and thick. Get all the edges. It's okay to get the paint on the stencil itself because that's what it's there for. You're still going to have the right shape when you're done. All right, so now that I've filled in all the cutout shapes with my black paint, Again, I'm going to close my paint very carefully, not over my bag. Okay, and I'm going to set my paintbrush down in a safe space where it's not going to get paint on anything I don't want paint on. And then I'm going to carefully lift this up. And ta-da! I've got a brand new jack-o'-lantern trick-or-treat bag. Isn't that so much fun? That looks really good, doesn't it? All right, so like I said earlier, when this dries completely, you can turn your bag over, and with the leftover paint that you have, you can do it on the other side. Just be sure that when you're done with everything, that you go wash your hands and you wash out your brushes really good, or if you don't want them anymore, you can always throw them away, but brushes are very useful tools. So I would suggest washing them off and using them again for your next art project. Okay, and you should have a little bit of leftover paint for this too, and be sure to save a little bit of the orange for the next project that we're about to do. Okay, all right, that was super fun, and I hope you have a happy and safe Halloween night trick-or-treating, and I hope you get lots of candy. All right. Okay, for our next project, you're gonna need a lot of stuff out of your box, okay? You're gonna need your raffia, okay, that straw bundle that you got. You're gonna need your black and brown marker. You're gonna need your paint from your trick-or-treat bag, but we're just gonna be using a little bit of the orange. Then you're gonna have your bag with your googly eyes and your blue paintbrush, your plate, your glue, and your triangle and rectangle pieces of paper. Okay? All right, so to get started, have your paper plate in front of you and turn it over to where we're working on the bottom of the plate, okay? It's a little bit lighter in color than the inside, okay? All right, first, we're going to bust out this raffia. Now it's got a piece that's going around it like this. So we're just gonna find the end. You may need a grown-up to help you, and that's okay. All right, and it should just come untied like that. Then we're gonna start unbundling this bundle. All right, oh, it's long, lots of it. That's awesome. Now what we're gonna be making is a scarecrow, okay? And you know, scarecrows are made out of straw, and they have straw for hair and stuff like that. So that's what this is going to be, okay? You're just gonna take a few pieces of your raffia at a time. You're not gonna use the whole bundle all at once, okay? And you're gonna stretch it out just like this. Stretch it out, get them all straightened up. And so this is going to be the scarecrow's face. All right. So where does the hair go? Does it go on the side a little bit? On that side and the top? Yeah. So we're just going to imagine that his hair is up at the top. And we're going to go ahead and imagine his hair coming all down the sides like this. All right. Now you may want to have a grown-up help you with some scissors and just cut some of this off. See, I've got a lot of extra right here, okay? So we're gonna cut that off. In fact, let me go grab some scissors and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I have a pair of scissors, but I don't want you to mess with scissors by yourself. I want you to ask a grown-up to help you with this. So you see that I have one end of the raffia kind of right here at the end of the plate. And on this side, I want it to be the same way. So I'm just gonna give him a little bit of a haircut and cut some of this extra raffia off very carefully. Okay, we're gonna pull some of that out too. That's okay. All right, just a quick little haircut. Now that we see that he has hair like that, we're gonna take our glue, open it up, move this out of the way a little bit, okay? And we're gonna put a bunch of glue all right here and all down the sides where we saw where he had hair. I say he, it might be a girl. I imagine that there's lady scarecrows too. And then we're going to bring our straw back down here and just start pressing it down. Now you're going to get glue coming up into the raffia, and that is what we want because that's going to help it all stick to it, okay? I'm just going to hold it right there for a little while. Your fingers are going to get very sticky, and that's a lot of fun. Lots and lots of fun. Just kind of hold it down for a little while. Now, while that's drying and we're holding it down a little bit, let's just talk about scarecrows for a minute, okay? Does everybody know what a scarecrow does? Yeah, we see them out standing in the field, or maybe you don't know what a scarecrow is at all. Well, this is a picture of a scarecrow, okay? And what they do is farmers make them out of straw and old clothes, and they put them up on sticks in their fields to scare away the crows that might eat their foods that they are growing. So their corn and their pumpkins, because although crows are very smart animals, they're going to get into whatever food they can find. And if they eat all of the farmer's crops that they're growing, then that farmer won't have any food or make any money that year, yeah? So they scare away the crows. But sometimes crows are so smart that they've figured it out that it's not a real person. But we like to put scarecrows up in the fall as decoration. Yeah. Goodness gracious, my fingers are so sticky. I bet yours are too. Okay, well, while that dries a little bit more, next we are going to take our brown triangle and we're going to put a little bit more glue. Move this hay out the way. Move the hay out the way. And we're going to put a little bit right up here at the top. Just a little bit at the very, very top. And we're going to put our triangle down just like that. This is going to be his hat. Okay? Just like that. He has a hat. Move the hay out the way. Just like that, he has a hat. I am full of rhyming words today. And then you're going to take your rectangle and it's going to end up going down on top of the triangle just like that. And that's kind of the brim of his hat. Okay? So I'm going to take some more glue. And I'm going to put it along the very bottom of the triangle. And then take the rectangle and set it down on top of that glue. And press it down. Just like that. You might have some glue poking out of the top, and that's okay. That is all right. We want to put enough glue to where that hat is going to stay in place, okay? So now he's got hair, he's got a face shape, and he's got a hat, all right? Next on the hat, we're going to take our brown marker and make this look like fabric, okay? We're going to do what's called cross-hatching. Cross-hatching. It's very easy to do, okay? So you're going to take your marker and you're going to make a line right there. Can you see that? And then just beside it, going in the same direction, you're going to make another line. So we've got two lines like that. And then go in the opposite or different direction, two more lines. If you've ever played tic-tac-toe, then that's what this looks like, okay? And you can make this as many times as you want on his hat, okay? I'm going to do it a couple more times. I'm going to make two lines right here and then two more like that. And then I'm going to come over here and you can do them different sizes. So over here, I'll make a smaller one, okay? And maybe over here, I'll make a big one. Yeah. So this makes it look like there's some texture, like it's fabric on his hat. Maybe I'll even make another one right here. You can't have too many. Okay. Now his hat is done, his hair is done, and he's got a face shape. Okay. Next, I'm going to take my bag And I'm gonna take out my googly eyes and my paintbrush. And I'll set my paintbrush to the side for now. I've got these big googly eyes. Yeah, I love googly eyes. They make everything so cute and fun. And so next, I'm gonna kind of find where I want his eyes to be. You can put them closer together, or you can make them far apart. I think I'm gonna put mine right about there, just under his hat, okay? Just right under his hat. You don't wanna put them down too low, because is that where eyes are on a face? No. And you have to have room for a nose and a mouth too. So we're gonna put it right up here, just underneath his hat, just like that, okay? So I'm going to pick up one of my eyes and I'm gonna put a dot of glue right where it was. You don't need too much, okay? Then put your eye right back down on top of that glue. All right, it's gonna move around a little bit until that glue dries. Next, I'm gonna pick up my other one and put a dot of glue right where that one was. Just like that. Ta-da! Okay, all righty. Next, I'm going to take my black marker and I'm gonna make him a mouth, okay? I'm gonna draw a mouth. You can make his mouth look like whatever you want. You can make it a big circle, like he's going, ha, or you can make him smile, or you can make him frown, however you wanna do it. But if you wanna do it the way that I'm doing it, I'm gonna start over here on the side and I'm going to just make a squiggly line following the curve of this plate. Isn't that cute? And then I think I will just make some circles right there on the end of the line on each side. See that? All right, and when you're done, you can close up your marker. I bet yours is looking so cute. And then next, I'm gonna open up one of my orange paint pots that we used for our trick-or-treat bag. And again, this paint does not come out of anything, so be very careful. And I'm going to gently dip my paintbrush into that paint. You don't have to just shove the whole thing in there. You just need enough on the very end of it, okay? Can you see that? You just need a little bit. Now I'm gonna make his nose in the shape of a triangle, okay? Remember, triangle has 3 sides. So to do that, I'm gonna come right here between his eyes, just below it. And I'm gonna make a line going down this way, okay? And then I'm gonna make a line going down this way. I'm gonna dip my paintbrush again to get a little more paint. And then I'm gonna connect these 2 lines with a line on the bottom. Great job. Now, working with paintbrushes can be very, very tricky. It takes a lot of practice. And Miss Brandy has had a lot of practice. And I understand that you've probably had a little bit of practice too. And I just want you to do the best job that you can. You're gonna do great, I promise. Just be very careful and take your time. You do not have to rush. You do not have to work as fast as Miss Brandy does. You just do your very best. You could also make his nose in the shape of a circle or a square, just however you want to do it. You can make it little, you can make it big. You do it how you want to do it, okay? So he's got his eyes, he's got a nose, he's got a mouth. So I have a scarecrow face. Wasn't that easy? He's got a hat, he's got hair, he's got everything he needs to stand in a field and scare off some crows. All right, so I'm gonna rinse out my brush, okay? When I get to some water, I'm gonna rinse that out and we can save this for another project as well. But for now, I'm just gonna set it to the side on a napkin. All right. Now, your glue back here is still pretty wet for your hair, so I'm just gonna go back to holding it down. Remember, this paint, this orange paint is wet as well, so we'll be very careful not to touch that. All right, now it's sticking a little bit better now that the glue has started to dry. Very good. Now you can take some more of this raffia and you can put him like a little collar of hay down here if you want to, or you can leave it just like it is. Okay, for now, I think I'm going to leave it just how it is because I really like the way he looks. Or she, again, I don't know why I keep saying he. That's okay. All right, he's ready to scare some crows. Wasn't that fun? All right, I bet yours is looking great. If you're still working on it, that's okay. You can rewind this video and play it again if you're a little bit behind. That's all right. Okay, good job. All right, for our very last project for the month of October, we're going to do a fun watercolor turkey. All right, so you're gonna have your turkey shape, and I'm gonna use my pizza box again. So once your paint has dried on your trick-or-treat bag and you can safely take your bag off of the pizza box, we can use it again for this project, okay? So I've got my turkey shape and my candy corn bag. And we're gonna go ahead and open this up. And I'm gonna get out my 3 pipettes, set those down, and my liquid watercolors, and my googly eye. It's way down in there. Just gonna go ahead and drop that out. Now this is tiny, tiny, tiny. So let's just be sure to keep a hold of that in a safe spot. I'm just gonna set it off to the side for now. Now remember, with these plastic bags, you can use them for other fun things, but if you're not going to use them, be sure to throw them away in the trash, okay? And we're also going to need our glue again, all right? And that's going to be for putting that googly eye onto our turkey, okay? All right, so let's be very careful opening these. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and move this out of the way just in case we spill some on there. Carefully open these. These are kind of tricky to open, so just have a grown-up help you if you need it. We're gonna open up each one. Ooh, careful, careful to not spill. I had to fill them up a whole lot because I wasn't sure how much of this y'all were gonna need. And see, some might spill a little bit. That's okay, I'm just gonna set that down right there. Now you have the colors red, yellow, and brown. The one that looks black is actually brown, okay? And so you have 3 colors and you have 3 pipettes. So each pipette is for a color, okay? So you don't have to mix them. So I'm just going to set my turkey down just like this in front of me. I'm going to take one of my pipettes. Now to use this, you're going to squeeze the big end. You're going to keep a hold of it. You're going to place the tip of it down into some liquid. I think first I will use the yellow. I'm going to use the lightest color because if I put a dark color down first, if it goes too far, I won't ever be able to get it back to a light color, okay? But if I put a light color down and then a dark color goes over it, it's okay. So I'm gonna use the yellow and I'm just gonna let go. You unsqueeze the end and it's gonna suck up some of that color into the tube. Isn't that cool? All right, so what I'm gonna do is put brown where the body of the turkey is. And then I'm going to put red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow for his tail feathers. Okay? So I think I said red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. So I'm going to start off right here. And I'm just going to imagine that this is a section of a feather. So like there's a line right there. I know it's kind of tricky to imagine, but that's why I put the picture before we started the project so you can kind of see what it's supposed to look like, all right? So I'm gonna start at the edge and I'm gonna put a drop and we're gonna see, look how that spreads. Can you see that? Just put one drop at a time. You don't wanna just squeeze this whole thing. Just squeeze just barely to where one drop comes out. Isn't that cool? And just see how far it spreads Haha, that is so cool. Just see how far it spreads before you put more down. That is awesome. Okay, very cool. So like I said, I'm going to do this one red and then this one yellow again. So again, I'm going to come over here and just put one drop and watch how far it spreads. Because if we do too much, then we're just going to have a bunch of blobs of color, which that's okay too. It's your turkey. If it turns out that way, that's fine. So yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. So we're making a pattern here, a pattern of red, yellow, red, yellow. Look how cool that is. And it just spreads out like that. Put one right here, maybe. This is quite the tricky project, but that's what makes it so fun. And I feel like a scientist working with this pipette. Okay, so now that I have a little bit of yellow still in my tube, and you're gonna have a lot left over with this, these are great. This watercolor and these pipettes are great for using on coffee filters, paper towels, watercolor paper. So if you have a lot left over, which you will, ask a grown-up for one of those things and you can keep practicing with this, okay? I think I'm gonna make his feet yellow. So I'm just gonna come down here to his feet and put a couple of drops. And then maybe up here on the very top of his head. Watch, it's gonna spread all the way to the beak. Isn't that cool? I'm gonna put one more tiny, tiny drop just to make sure it covers the whole beak. Oh, awesome. That's so cool. Now I don't want it to spread down here to this little area because I'm gonna make that red because turkeys have a wattle under their neck. That's always red. So any leftover that you have in there, just hold it over the color that it is and then just squeeze it out back into the container. Very cool. All right, next I'm gonna do red. And so I'm gonna be putting red on his wattle, his other tail feathers as well. So again, just hold it, squeeze it, dip the very tip of it into the watercolor that you want and then let go. And it squeezes up in there. So I'm gonna start over here right on his wattle and put a drop. And you can put it over the yellow too. That's so cool. All right, and then I'm gonna come over here to this tail feather and do a drop and watch it spread. I love this. This is so much fun. Whoa. That's so cool. And see, the red and the yellow kind of blend together and make orange. Because that's what you get when you mix red and yellow. You get the color orange. That's so cool. I'll come right here and put one more. Watch them kind of blend together. And I've got some white right there, so I'm just going to put a drop right here and watch it spread. There you go. And then down here on this tail feather. You know, some families eat turkeys at Thanksgiving, and some people have ham, and some people have something totally different. What do you have for Thanksgiving? What does your family do? That's really cool. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving this year. All right, so now that we have all the red down that we want, again, I'm going to empty it out into the red container. And then lastly, I'm going to take my last clean one and I'm going to get the brown. Remember, squeeze, dip, and let go. Now I'm going to start filling in all the rest of the white that we have. Whoa. I'm going to place a couple of drops just kind of all around. Very cool. So just everywhere where there's some white, Just give it a little drop and watch it spread out. And you'll see that it kind of stops where it meets another color. Tiniest little drops right there. All right. Isn't that cool? We've got a turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And I'm going to empty it out into my pot. All righty. Very cool. Now this is still wet and I'm going to pick mine up, but I don't suggest that you pick yours up. Just let it dry. Okay. So you see, we've got a turkey. Turkey, turkey. Okay, so the very last thing, we're going to close up our paint, our watercolor paint, very carefully. Make sure that the lids are all the way closed, because if you set this down somewhere, you see how it's splattered? If you set this down somewhere and it leaks, that stuff is going to get all over everything it touches. All right, so I would suggest to let this dry all the way before putting your eye on, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put it on because I've got to wrap up my video, okay? So take your glue, and you know, this is the turkey's head. So I imagine his eye is going to be right about there, okay? So I'm going to put one tiny little dot of glue right there. Can you see that? And then I'm going to place his eye right down on top of that glue. There it is. And there's going to be some glue kind of coming out around it. That's okay. Alrighty. So now I'm just picking it up to show you. I would let yours dry before you pick it up. But now you have a cute little Thanksgiving turkey. You can glue this down when it's dry onto a piece of paper and hang it on the wall of the refrigerator, or you can put it in a window and watch the sun shine through this very thin paper, or you can give it to a friend or a family member for Thanksgiving as a gift. Okay, I hope that you have a wonderful Halloween and Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope it's very safe, you have a lot of fun, and that I just want you to know that I am thankful for you, okay? All right, I'll see you in December. Bye.